What's up, fam? It's your girl Naia, back at it again with another reaction that's about to blow your mind. Today, we're diving into the wild world of tech with a video that's got me all kinds of curious. Our first look at FSR, AMD's new AI upscaling tech is impressive. Now, I don't know about you, but when I hear AI upscaling, I picture my old school flip phone trying to make a TikTok like, girl no. But apparently, AMD is stepping up their game, and I'm here for it, so... Is this tech going to change the gaming world forever, or is it just another shiny gadget that's all talk and no action? Grab your popcorn, because we're about to find out. And hey, if you're loving this vibe, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, because you don't want to miss the chaos we create around here. Let's get into it.
So my friend and colleague Alex Battaglia and I came in with some significant expectations coming into CES because there was a general expectation that AMD, Advanced Micro Devices, would...
It's always wild when you hear CES because you know the tech world is about to drop some serious heat. AMD has been making waves lately, and honestly, I'm here for the drama. Like, are they about to blow everyone's minds or just serve us another lukewarm dish? Let's see if they can live up to those expectations.
Would reveal a variety of products, including their new RDNA 4 GPUs and FSR 4. And indeed, it seems to be the case that some journalists were actually briefed on those subjects before AMD abruptly decided to not showcase those products in a 45-minute presentation, claiming that there were some timing issues. But AMD actually did showcase some of those technologies at CES, but in a somewhat slightly sneaky fashion that certainly surprised Alex and I. So Alex, can you lay out the general situation that we encountered yesterday afternoon about 2 p.m. in the Venetian Hotel in Las Vegas? Can you lay that out for me? Can you explain exactly what happened?
Yeah.
And what surprised us so much?
Well, basically we went into the AMD booth there, which isn't a booth. It was actually a suite section of the hotel itself in the conference area with little to no expectation what we would see there because we knew that they kind of abruptly didn't actually say.
Okay, hold up. A suite instead of a booth? That's a power move right there. It's like they're trying to keep things exclusive and mysterious. I love the vibe. But honestly, if they're not hyping it up, what are they hiding? I'm all for surprises, but I need to know if it's worth the hype or just smoke and mirrors.
Actually say too much about RDNA 4 GPUs or any of the technology behind FSR 4 beyond saying that it exists and that they'll talk about it at a later point in the quarter. So we went in there with little to no expectations, and we walked in and actually we didn't think that we were going to be seeing much of anything at all. There was like a Black Ops stand and like you could see some like handheld stuff in the corner and the game.
Okay, now we're talking a Black Ops stand. That's got my attention. It sounds like they're trying to keep things under wraps, which always makes for some juicy reveals. I mean, who doesn't love a little mystery? But if they're hiding cool stuff in the corner, I'm ready to see what they've got. Let's hope it's not just a glorified tech showcase with nothing exciting.
The games were running, but it was contextless. We didn't actually know what was going on. So I walked around and I looked for any people from AMD that I tend to know. And I saw some people that I did know, and I went over to them, talked to them, and they were surprised to see me there. And then they were like, oh, did you see this? I'm like, no, what is this? And he's like, well, this is a research project. And lo and behold, sitting side by side, two PCs, one running, I don't know what card was in.
All right, now we're getting somewhere. Two PCs side by side. That's like the ultimate showdown. I'm curious to see how they compare, especially if one's rocking some next-level tech. This could be the moment where AMD shows off what they've been keeping under wraps. Let's hope it's not just a flashy display with no substance.
I don't know what card was in the first PC, but it was running FSR 3 on the left-hand side. And the
3.1.
Oh, 3.1, sorry, yeah, because this was running in Ratchet & Clank, Nixie software there. And the right-hand side was the research project, which is in actuality, presumably, they didn't actually say it with any concrete words, it is FSR 4.
Yes.
Yeah, but...
Whoa, hold up, FSR is on the table now? That's a big deal. If they're comparing it to Therapy in a live demo, you know they're confident about the upgrades. I'm all about seeing how much better it performs, especially in a game like Ratchet & Clank. This could be the moment where AMD really shines or flops hard. Let's see what they've got.
Yeah, but obviously a work-in-progress version of it. So ML-based upscaling on the right, on the left, the older analytic, hand-tuned one. And basically, the idea was we weren't going to be getting B-roll from direct capture. Oliver is walking right up to the screen there with cameras and recording things that we saw. And we could basically just run through the first level of the game, both of them running in 4K performance mode on some pretty nice looking monitors, actually.
All right, now we're talking 4K performance mode on nice monitors. That's the kind of setup that gets my heart racing. If they're showcasing this tech in all its glory, I'm ready to see how it holds up. The visuals better be stunning, or else I's calling them out. Let's see if this research project lives up to the hype.
And inside the PC itself, that was on at least the right-hand side, I didn't look in the left-hand side one, was what is an engineering sample of the latest RDNA 4 GPU, which hasn't really...
Whoa, an engineering sample of the RDNA 4 GPU? Now that's some serious insider info. This is the kind of stuff that gets the tech community buzzing. If they're showing off the latest and greatest, I'm all in. I can't wait to see how this GPU stacks up against the competition. This could be a game changer.
GPU, which hasn't really been announced, which is the RX 9070.
Possibly the XT? I don't know.
Yeah. It's a little bit, because we didn't get to see the front side of the card. So it was just the backside, which was labeled engineering sample. So there's only so much we can say there. But basically, it was and I say contextless as the demo because there wasn't anyone there. Usually when you go to like a new technology demonstration for a new product, there's always a technical rep next to the demo booth or demo station describing what it is and walking you through it and maybe answering your questions. But here, there was no one there in like an official capacity to stand there. Rather, someone else introduced it to me and then just said, like, have fun at it.
Yeah.
Without much.
There were some hints, like they're like, well, we're currently calling this our machine learning research preview and not FSR 4. But yeah, basically the gist here is that we're looking at AMD's presumably next generation machine learning upscaling solution versus their old analytical upscaling solution.
Yeah, right.
And it was presented in a very strange manner that certainly maybe suggests some background issues with...
I have no idea what it suggests, but it was weird. It was different.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe this was scheduled and then maybe it was not scheduled, something like that. But I think the thing that really did stand out to me and Alex here, and the thing that really did catch our attention out of this research preview, is the fact that the research preview, the research project, seemed to have much better image quality than FSR 3.1, which is...
Now we're getting to the juicy stuff. If the research project is showing better image quality than FSR 1, that's a huge win for AMD. This could mean they're really stepping up their game in the upscaling department. I'm all about those crisp visuals. So if they can deliver, I'm ready to be impressed. Let's see if this is the upgrade we've been waiting for.
One, which is a pretty established, pretty credible looking analytical upscaler on PC and on consoles. And
all right, this is the moment of truth. If the research project is outshining FSR 1, that's a big deal. FSR 1 is already a solid player in the game, so if AMD is pulling ahead, we might be looking at a serious game changer. Those visuals better be stunning. Let's see if they can keep this momentum going.
And across a variety of image quality aspects, I think...
Whoa, hold up, this side-by-side comparison is everything. If the research project is really outperforming FSR 1 across various aspects, that's a major flex for AMD. I mean, just look at those details. If they can keep this quality consistent, we might have a new king in the upscaling game. I am here for it.
I think this was actually outperforming it quite a bit.
Yeah, it definitely was. So basically, I've played the first level of Ratchet & Clank more times than I would like to.
All right. Now we're getting into the real nitty-gritty. If you've played the first level of Ratchet & Clank that many times, you know exactly what to look for. This comparison is about to get intense. I'm ready to see how these two stack up side by side. If the research project is really pulling ahead, that could change everything for gamers. Let's see those visuals.
To even talk about, but I know exactly all the pain points for each and every upscaler in that first level, so I wanted to walk through it and kind of look and see exactly where they would compare against each other while walking between the FSR 3.1 version and this research project, which is presumably AMD's FSR 4. And there was a couple ones that were easy to notice right away, just in the first staging area, for example. when walking along the carpet, it has a fine texture along it. And all the upscalers can kind of do this depending upon their input resolution and output resolution, but FSR was the one that always had the most trouble here.
All right, this is getting interesting. If FSR has been struggling with that fine texture, it's a big deal. Textures can make or break the visual experience, especially in a game like Ratchet & Clank, where detail is everything. If the research project is handling it better, that's a serious win for AMD. I'm ready to see how this plays out.
Here, and basically, if you look at that carpet, with FSR 3.1, you'll see like a moire pattern where it looks like a giant concentric rings surround each other on the carpet there. Go over to the AMD research project / FSR 4, not really there. And
Whoa, this is the moment we've been waiting for. If the AMD research project is handling that carpet texture without the moire pattern, that's a huge win. It's all about those details. And if they've nailed it, we might be looking at a serious upgrade in visual fidelity. This could change the game for how we experience graphics in gaming. Let's see how else it stacks up.
not really there. And one thing that needs to be said, we're looking at off-screen footage here that Oliver did his best to capture while relying it up. So you're also like zooming in on a pixelated screen with a camera with a limited resolution. So there will be some other things here that may look like artifacting, like it may look like moire even in its own right on the right-hand side, but that is stuff that was only captured in camera.
It's like in person, it looks very clean, very smooth, very stable, and then
Okay, now we're talking. If it looks clean, smooth, and stable in person, that's a major win for the AMD research project. This is the kind of upgrade we're all hoping for. Seeing those visuals side by side really highlights the difference. If they can deliver that kind of quality consistently, we might have a new standard in gaming graphics. Let's keep this momentum going.
and then, you know, you're really looking at the difference between those two, because both of them obviously have some artifacts from the fact that we filmed it off screen, and it's a little bit bizarre. I'm sure that in a different world, perhaps it might have been a smarter idea to actually supply some direct feed capture footage of this research project, because that might have shown it off in better light. But, you know, we went in, this is what they had to show us, so this is what you get. You get off-screen footage of this AMD research project, but I think in general, I mean, across a variety of image quality aspects, like you pointed out, the moire on the stairs,
This is the moment we've been waiting for. The side-by-side comparison is everything. If the AMD research project is handling the stairs without that moire effect, that's a huge win. It's all about those details, and if they've nailed it here, we might be looking at a serious upgrade in visual fidelity. This could change the game for how we experience graphics in gaming. Let's see how else it stacks up.
No longer an issue. Also some issues with FSR 3.1 with the SSAO, which does not really seem to be an issue at all with this research project.
Yeah, basically background objects with SSAO, maybe due to the precision and internal resolution of the effect with FSR 3.1 and Ratchet & Clank, and presumably also in Spider-Man, but I haven't looked at it in a while. It's just like a thing that you'd imagine happens in the Insomniac engine. It kind of like flickers. You know, a lot of SSAO is actually done at less than the screen resolution and then temporally amortized over time. The first title to do it was Gears of War 2, actually. And in this game, at least, look at background stuff, especially stuff that's like flush, light gray or white. It'll actually like flicker in FSR 3.1, and the research project version did not do that at all.
Now that's a significant difference. If the research project version isn't flickering like FSR 3.1, that's a major win for AMD. Flickering can be super distracting, especially in a visually rich game like Ratchet & Clank. If they've managed to eliminate that issue, it's a huge step forward in delivering a smoother gaming experience. I'm all for that kind of upgrade.
Did not do that at all. Another thing to just also generically comment on was the kind of general sharpness of the image was rather high.
All right, high sharpness is what we love to hear. If the image quality is looking crisp, that's a fantastic sign for the AMD research project. Sharp visuals can make such a difference in immersion, especially in a vibrant game world. If they're nailing that aspect, it's definitely a step in the right direction. Let's see how this continues to unfold.
high, not in a negative fashion. There was the game's internal sharpening filter, which I eventually turned off, I believe, because I just wanted to see like the more raw output. But one thing to comment on is I don't think it looked particularly soft or anything like that, which is something like it is an image quality characteristic, just a generic subjective appraisal there. But it looked like sharp, like they were trying to achieve an image that was sharp, not necessarily filmic, soft, but like sharp. Yeah.
I think there were kind of two other key areas where it really differentiated itself in my.
All right, now we're getting to the juicy details. If there are two key areas where the research project is really standing out, I'm all ears. This could be the moment where AMD shows us what they've really been working on. I'm ready to see how they're pushing the boundaries and what sets this apart from FSR 3. Let's dive in.
Itself, in my view, from FSR 3.1. And to me, that was basically in the particle effects, like the confetti that we do see in that initial level, and then also the kind of fizzle issues with animation with the bystanders there.
Yeah.
With the animation there. Those two issues really do separate FSR from some of the other upscalers that we've seen in Ratchet & Clank over the years. And I think in this case, that was definitely quite a big difference there.
Yeah, basically, what I always call disocclusion fizzle, which is like the hallmark feature of FSR in all iterations, not including one, of course. But
all right, this is getting real. If we're talking about occlusion fizzle, that's a classic issue with FSR that's been around for a while. If the research project is handling this better, that's a huge step forward. It's all about those little details that can make or break the immersion in a game. If they've nailed this, it could really elevate the overall experience. Let's see how they tackle it.
But that did not seem to be there in a way. And the best and quickest way to show it in an off-screen way was looking at those bystanders in the crowd there, which showed off really well. And obviously, particles have always been an issue with FSR to, like this transparency masking stuff. And in this case, specifically the confetti, it would always like.
All right, we're diving into the nitty-gritty of particle effects. If transparency masking has been a consistent issue with FSR 2, and now we're looking at confetti, that's a big deal. If the research project is handling this better, it could really enhance the visual experience. Confetti should look vibrant and dynamic, not like a pixelated mess. Let's see how they've improved it.
It would always either kind of ghost out, or it would trail, or it would do something, depending upon the version of FSR that was running in this game. And here now it actually resolves as full individual, confetti. I don't know, you call them flakes or something, but they're going down and they look like complete whole objects. And they weren't doing annoying trails or anything like that. It just looked like a complete object. And it was also performance mode. That was.
Okay, now we're really seeing the difference. If the confetti looks like complete objects without annoying trails, that's a huge win for the research project. It's all about those little details that enhance the overall experience, especially in a vibrant game like Ratchet & Clank. If they can pull this off in performance mode, that's impressive. This could really elevate how we experience particle effects in gaming.
That was another thing that actually was said to us, is that they're showing it off in performance mode because, this was more said in a side manner. It wasn't actually directly described to us, but it was basically they know that this 1 to 4, 1/4 scale is the biggest test of the quality of a scaler, as well as the thing that FSR never could do really, really well.
Exactly.
Right? So basically they're showing off all the areas where FSR 3 and earlier would be bad. And
all right, this is the moment of truth. If they're showcasing all the areas where FSR 3 and earlier struggled, that's a bold move. It's like they're putting their cards on the table and saying, look, we know where we messed up, but check out how we've improved. If they can really highlight those improvements, it could change the game for AMD. I'm here for this transparency. Let's see what they've got.
And this looked not bad. It looked good. In fact, it looked great.
It looked really good.
Yeah, and this is kind of what we've wanted to see from AMD.
So I think overall, the quality of this upscaler seems really, really good across this content, even though it is a research project, as they like to declare to us. It's not an official finished version of any particular upscaler here. I think there is a question that comes to mind here, though, which is that because this is.
All right, now we're diving into the questions. If they're acknowledging that this is a research project and not the final product, that's a smart move. It sets the stage for expectations. But I'm curious to see what concerns they have about the transition from research to a finished product. If they can maintain this quality and address any potential issues, we could be looking at something groundbreaking. Let's hear what they have to say.
This is a machine learning-based upscaler, and because AMD has a bit of a partnership with Sony, we wondered if this might be descended from some research from PSSR, or it might be some implementation even of PSSR. PSSR obviously has its own very unique characteristics here. So are we seeing some of those characteristics with this new upscaler? Is it similar to PSSR in a way that might suggest some kind of really closely shared lineage?
No. It didn't look at it anything like PSSR in our just like, first of all, specifically in this game, like we've looked, both you and I have looked at it like extensively, and like also in movement, we know like it's kind of like a little bit unstable in this game specifically, and also a generic PSSR feature that seems to be found almost across every single game that uses PSSR is if you sit the camera still, it almost looks like, if you've ever seen like a plasma TV running, you know, like there's like just like a noise pattern in like standard moving. It's
like kind of
footage.
fundamentally unstable.
Yeah, and that's something that PSSR has, and this didn't have that at all. You like brought the camera right up to like some of the trees in the background or like the bushes. It was really obvious in those areas because there's like small features, and it just didn't do that fizzle that we see in PSSR. So
Now that's a significant observation. If the research project isn't showing that fizzle effect around detailed features like trees and bushes, that's a major plus. It means they're really refining the visuals and addressing past issues. This could lead to a much more immersive experience. Especially in a vibrant game environment, I'm excited to see how this continues to develop.
PSSR. So, and no, I don't think there's any relation to PSSR here. So it seems to be AMD's own project in that aspect, fully on them. And wow, I mean, there also no context here in terms of like performance or no, you know, we don't have any understanding about.
I think it was at 60.
Yeah, it was definitely a 60 running screen, which is easy to run. There was no ray tracing on, for example, as well too. It was like the high settings, some like very high, maybe it was a bit in there too, but it wasn't like trying to show off that it can also be performant or something like that. So maybe that's another reason why they're just calling it work in progress right now, because it's not the end finished article, not only in terms of quality, but also maybe performance is something they need to dial in at the end. You know, there's a lot of things that we just don't know.
So I think the lesson here, guys, is that if you happen to be at CES and if AMD happens to slip on a highly anticipated product or products, because we did see presumably the 9070 there as well, albeit in sample form, engineering sample form, then just stop by the AMD booth, take a look around, go pixel peeping on some monitors with a DSLR and a buddy, and maybe you too can find the latest version of FSR and AMD's somewhat announced graphics cards. I don't even know at this point. It's a very, very bizarre situation. But as always, Alex, thank you for joining me. And indeed, for the first time, joining me in person.
Yeah, this has been awesome. Oliver's a treat.
Likewise.
Who's also been treating me to food. And I've been treating him to Ubers at this moment. So it's been a good time. Yeah.
It's been a really, really good time. And after this video, we should have more videos.
Yeah, many more.
Many more videos covering CES and the various announcements therein. But Alex, thanks for joining me. And
yeah, let's just say a quick
Auf Wiedersehen.
All right, fam, let's wrap this up. Today, we took a wild ride through the tech universe with AMD's new AI upscaling, and let me just say, wow, they really brought the heat. From the power moves at CES to the intense showdown of FSR versus FSR. We were on the edge of our seats, ready to see if this tech was going to be a game changer or just another overhyped project. Honestly, I came into this expecting some flashy gimmicks and maybe a few meme moments, but I've got to give it to AMD. They delivered some jaw-dropping visuals and tackled those pesky texture issues like pros. If they really nailed that sharpness and smoothed out the flickering, we might just be witnessing the dawn of a new gaming era. It's like they took a good hard look at FSR and said, hold my GPU, so would I say it lives up to the buzz? Absolutely. Those graphics were crispier than my favorite potato chips. Just don't go trying to upscale your flip phone videos just yet. Some things are better left in the past. You know what I mean? Now, if you loved coming along on this tech journey with me, Don't forget to smash that like button harder than AMD smashed those FSR expectations. And hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more epic reactions and chaotic vibes, because trust me, this is just the beginning. Catch you on the next adventure, my lovely nerds.